Aloha guys. All right, today we're going to go over the management of these. When you guys have them perfected, the deed of repentance, the notice of sin, the reproof of sin, and then also the true bills. We're going to go over how you put those books together, the accounting on it, the physical, real world monopoly money making of this. This is where a lot of people became complacent and tried to expedite, commercialize, collect wealth, and everything else instead of just keeping everything decentralized, uninflated, all this good stuff. So today we're going to go over one of the bigger things that are in those deeds of repentances that do not get caught, that AK is the bet, the insurance, the bond that shorts the original mortgage, saying, hey, you don't have these standards that you were supposed to have, but this is the example of those standards that they're supposed to have, aka physically attached documents. And when you get into the physically attached documents, that prevents the bifurcation. It adds a layer of restriction, resistance to everything to stop it from systematically inflating because it's just a quick, easy digit number to put on there, or it's just a quick, easy correction paper to put in something when, hey, no, that was null and voided, or bifurcated or messed up. You need to correct it the correct way and not just hearsay and just say, oh, golden stamp, pencil push everything through. So here we go. What you're going to want to get is a safe, but carry everything around. You're going to want a waterproof case, Pelican case or something else. But we're going to get into we're going to go from nothing, obviously, then your file books. I recommend a four document holder where it's got 4 pockets, plastic protecting, all that good stuff. But from that, we're going to make the actual books. Ignore the white line there. We're going to make the actual books, the actual accounting record books, the physically attached books, the accounting on everything. And we have a few examples here already for you. So if you have different stages and steps, we're going to show you the way you can do it with just your Dollar Tree, Dollar General, supermarket, I guess we won't use name brands in here, everyday school supplies. It doesn't have to be complicated. You can get something like this, which is the correct industrialized, commercialized way if you're going commercializing it. And that's what these are for. Nice, handy dandy. So how do we go from paper to all of this? Let's grab one. I got a few here. Yep, let's take this one for example. So here, I got a few already pre-done. You're going to want to glue everything together first. Let me get that example out. Dun, 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 dun. All right, so starting off, you're going to have that loose paper. You're going to have that deed of repentance. That deed of repentance plus your notice of sin, and then also your reproof of sin, and then you have your actual bond certificates, your true bills, your bills of exchange. So what you need to do from there was when you have at least all the way up to that point to start actually binding these together. You could do it a lot sooner, but I recommend to wait until everything's been perfected. Why? Because the purpose is not to end up with this bond certificate, aka money, aka bill of exchange, aka security. You want to just do the compelling act on these. Hey, get off my property, stop trespassing it, remove your voided instruments that are no longer valid. So to do that, we're going to go from old school gluing it together. So this is all just from this little hot glue gun. This is your new little M16. They're going to start banning these and outlawing these once people start catching on to this stuff. And all it does is physically attach everything. So everything, again, is single page document, but you want to actually bind everything together so that even though if it's labeled or not labeled, paged or not, it's all in order of the record and the accounting that happened. From there, I can still take my next sheet. So if I'm doing it in sequence, I have my first deed of trust all glued together. After I get my notice of sin, I can attach that to the back of it. It's just gluing it together. To do this, all we did is take two good old rulers. You're going to stick them together, get it nice and tight, stick it together. And I'm not going to do this in front of you because it's going to take way too long, but I'll go through the motions with you. This is the sorcery of the melting pot putting all this together. And you're going to want to get the extended mags for this beauty, just because you're going to probably use a lot of glue. So from here, you're going to get that. Obviously, you're not going to want it, hold it here, because these, unless you got really good clamps. So you're going to want to actually put it up and prop it up on something. But nonetheless, you're going to take your hot glue gun, and that's all you're going to do is you're just going to zigzag weld these pages together. Weld, 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 weld. Put a nice thick bead in there. Because again, you want it to bend and flex. From here, you obviously don't want to just keep it like this. You want to give it some kind of binding and treat it like a book. Treat it like the millions of dollars that it is. Don't just keep it as paper as loose. And definitely do not just not physically attach it. Even if you plan to keep it in your own records, in your own custody and whatnot, if you have to bring it outside of your records and show someone evidence and proof, you still need all of that physically attached so that the record and order is proven just by handing it over to someone. And if someone doesn't shuffle the papers right, you could be screwed over. Nonetheless, from there, we're going to go for this, and we're going to take these red ribbons. Now, you can get this red ribbon in the, I forget what it's called, the arts and crafts in the Walmart section, Target section. I think this is a bed linen sheet or something. I don't know. Just find some fabric that you can get it. This was already in the nice size, so it's perfect. And it was nice and red just for the depth of all of this. From there, all you're going to do is, again, glue it together. You can hot glue that back together, or you can grab some other permanent glue and glue the actual binding fabric onto it. From there, you'll be able to actually take that binding fabric and put a hard binding on it so it doesn't get as wonky as this one already did, because it's been forced in this case and book and hasn't been finished yet. But you'll get a hard binding on that so that actually doesn't move around, can't flex left up and down like this way. From there, you'll have all this extra cutoff length to start gluing on your actual hardcover sheets. These bad boys. And these are just canvas panels. Arts and crafts section, Walmart, Target, Hobby Lobby, Michael's, whatever your store is, they're probably going to have these in there. So you want to treat this as like this. And you can go for the standardized commercial faster way, which I'll show you actually how to do that quick way. But if this is worth $2 million, does this look like it's worth $2 million? Does this look like it's worth $2 million? Now, granted, this is arts and crafts just put together, but if I open up something like this compared to something like this, or even just the original, something like this, this is going to be taken more seriously, whether it's fictitious, non-fictitious, fiat, non-fiat, whatever you want to call it. This is going to be taken more seriously. All of the authenticity behind it, the security of the stickers and everything, that's the importance of the original document. So they know, hey, this is an original. This was well taken care of. This had intention of being fully whatever's in there. It's not hearsay, greed, just thrown in the desk, just burnt, just try to hearsay it onto the record and all this stuff. To do that backing for this, it's just a piece of foam board, just presentation foam board that you need. And again, just hot glue it or permanent glue it to that binding edge. From there, this paper is what, or this fabric is what you're going to glue on to these panel edges. You'll take them and actually just glue them on here, and this will act as your front cover because now it has that paper that it can actually fold and loosely open and close. From there is when you're going to take, if you want to actually wrap that, from there is when you want to actually wrap that, you would take that, and again, I still have to attach these into this book, so to do that, I would go back to the record that I chose, the next chapter in the book of the accounting. I would take my glue, put a nice glue ring right there, and I would attach this and stick it in there and physically attach it to it. Staples are not a physical attachment. And what I do is I take these little guys, which you can get a little folder, clear guys. This would not be physically attached, considered whatever I kept in this. But I glue this to the back of this to keep all of your accessory attachment receipts and stuff, or any notes and whatnot, or to hold the paper that you still need to physically attach still. But to do that, I just go grab some pleather, leather, whatever you want to use, cut it to the size. Again, all you're going to do is wrap it just like a present. I don't need to really go over that. You can use hot glue, permanent glue, tack glue, whatever you want. Glue it on there, wrap the corners nicely, neatly and stuff, and then you'll have a nice, pretty little book worth whatever your bills of exchange are. Now this is where we need to get into a little bit before you get too far ahead of yourself. Everything in here needs to be the contract, the note, the underlying real security. So this would be your deed of repentance, your notice of sin, reproof of sin. Your true bills, your bills of exchange, your security assignments to that full perfected principal amount note, mortgage NOL, deed of repentance, is what is this? You're going to keep the physical original copy of the bill of lading, but these security attachments of the bond certificates, the bills of exchange, these you do not put in this book and physically attach it. These are the, again, cash, bond certificates, bills of exchange. This is the physical document you're going to actually exchange in the market if you want to actually exchange it in the market and use it already. You're going to put copies of the bills of exchange into the book and put that on record. Another thing that will not go into the book as the physical original attachment is the deed of repentance certificate, the public record document, security assignment that you're putting on the public record. You're going to hold on to the security assignment because that's the movable instrument instead of moving the entire book. But you're going to take copies of this, of the recorded assignment that got recorded in the actual public record so that it shows physical evidence, and that copy is going to actually get put into that book. The physical bill of lading of you sending proof of evidence of that copy getting on record is going to still stay in that book, but the actual copy of that deed of repentance certificate stays as a copy in the book so that you can actually move around that certificate, that security assignment, aka anti-deeded trust, whatever you want to call it or look it as. See, look, some of this is loosely paper already coming jumbled and mixed up. That's why you want to get all of this physically attached as soon as possible and not wait. So for this one, we're going to show you the good old machine use on this. And you can get this for $50. So if you don't want to do the contractor way of gluing everything by hand and doing everything the cheap way, $10. You can get $50, $60 for this good old boy. And it just is a simple, faster way to do it. but cheaper. All it has is the glue stick already inside of the binding side of this. So it already pre-melt that in there. So technically you could already make these too. And even from here, after you make this, you can still take these guys and attach it to the thing and just have that in there as your book. And we may do that right now. But to do this, you're gonna take your deed of repentance, asking for clarity, my notice of sin, asking for a response if they never responded, and reiterating, hey, you have trespassing documents. And then my reproof of sin. Hey, it's my notice of default saying, hey, you never responded. It's tacit agreement. You're agreeing to all of this. Trespassing documents. These are null and void. There's no jurisdiction or anything else. And I forgot to print this out. So we are going to put the original bill of lading of the bond certificate, but we keep the bond certificate separate because that's the movable liquid portion of the contract. So we take this, get it nice and tight, good and tight. Marines, if you remember that one. The main thing is you want it to be nice and tight for all of the glue to touch it and attach to it. Oops, I got two here. And then we're going to stick it in. Now these come in different sizes, and as you can tell, I don't know if you can see that, these are too small. So I need a bigger, thicker binder edge for this, but I tell you what I'm going to do, because Marines don't wait around. This would have been, you would normally do that, and then you would take that, open this up, and this has a heat plate on it. And it's just going to heat up that bottom glue and then be able to stick it on there. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to increase all of it and add a little glue to it. Actually, I should probably do that before it does that. So I heated it up a little, opened it up, and now I'm just going to add some extra glue in that so that this can actually fit in there and attach to it. Tap, rack, bang! You gotta let it heat up. Now I don't want to go overboard with this because I don't want it oozing out on the machine on me. You just want to put an extra bead on the sides of it. Again, make it as straight as possible. You can go overboard and put this all on a table and stuff when I'm trying to demonstrate it to you, so we're going to do best we can free-handed. Okay, then from here, you just pull her open, stick her in, let her heat up. That glue will melt and go on in it. Hold her together. Beep beep, she done. Supposed to take her out, set her on the cooling rack. I like to still make sure all those papers got pushed in. All right, and then you can grab your binder covers and glue them on. Obviously center it and whatnot. And glue it on. Simple as that. And then you can take this guy, and once it's on there, You can glue her in there, and then that can be a little protector there. You can also use these guys. So if you just grab a paper or a plastic binder holder, you can do that with it too. So I could take this, hot glue my paper together, and then hot glue it into this binder too. This acts the same thing as this. But the main key point is that everything is physically attached. No paper is getting shuffled around and moved around and loosed. Why? Because for me to assign this record, the perfection of all of the evidence of the security behind the embroideredness, the stickers, you may think like that's a cheap little thing, but you got to remember what makes all of this fiatness, fakeness paper real. What makes the words on it actually real more than just hearsay words out there? What makes this more powerful, more higher valuable than the other paper that just has words on it and numbers on it? It's all those little details, that little detail of that indentedness of that sticker for physical evidence proof that this was the original document. So that whenever this got copied, because I had to print it out, if someone found that copy on the record one way or another, I sent an email or I sent it out to an NDA and someone didn't file the NDA, whatever reason, this still stands as the physical true copy, the house, the real money. So when I want to actually transfer this to someone, I would actually endorse it with it saying, hey, this is getting endorsed along, transferred, exchange, whatever to such and such. Or I can leave the signing name blank and do it just as a blank endorsement, and then it becomes a holder document. Again, another reason why you have to have the physical original. Because let's say I write that on here saying this is an open holder document. I don't write out who it's getting transferred to or whatnot. That means that this becomes whoever holds the original physical document has the full rights, has the money. Well, what happens if the guy with the copy is sitting next to me and says the same thing because he has a blank endorsement? Is it whoever signs whichever copy first? No, it's the original copy is the original holder of that document. And the holder in due course of that document would be the person if you actually signed and said, hey, this is the designated person that it got value exchange, paid, endorsed to, successor, whatever else. And remember, those bills of exchange act as the actual transfer of the actual bill. So it's an invoice, remember, it's just your monthly, daily amount collected up. So each one of individual of these bills every month that got sent is only the face value on there. Yes, there's the principal amount, but this is your principal amount. So you could still, if they default on your fee schedule, then again, the entirety of the notes and all bills of exchange are defaulted and due. And then you can go collect on the entirety of the principal amount. But the bills of exchange, if you start exchanging it in the market, you got to remember it's the face value of whatever that bill's for. It's the bond certificate, the surety, the dividend, the payout for that. And that's what the face value of these are. And that's why they don't go in here. You just put the record of these in here so that you can already use this as money value and whatnot instead of waiting for trying to foreclose or getting them to actually pay on these invoices. So test it. Grab it just like a book. Carefully, because you don't know if it actually did it. You see how my page fell out? So that means that isn't physically attached and bound. So I got to redo it and make sure I glue all that in there. That's why I don't like this process. And I like a better process that I can actually control the glue amount of doing it myself.